I am usually referred to as the Master was the first immortal line spoken by Roger Delgado in his time in Doctor Who. Many years later, we got a book named after that very line, which details the life and career of the man who brought the Master to screen. This is I Am Usually Referred to as the Master by Marcus Harms, and this is a book which I think is one you will not want to miss. If you are a big fan of the Master and Roger Delgado, I guarantee this is the one for you. This does what it says on the tin, really. It details the life and career of Roger Delgado. It's quite a lengthy read, going in at about nearly 300 pages. I have to say this is a very, very good read. The amount of stuff that I learnt from this book was astounding. I am a huge fan of Roger as the Master. He is in fact my favourite incarnation of the Master. There's just something about his charm and the wit that he brings to the role, and I don't really feel that it's ever been matched. A lot of other actors have come very close, but I just don't feel like anybody could have done it as good as Roger. This book, I learnt about everything else that he did besides the Master. I learnt about what he did on stage. I learnt about all the other stuff that he did for TV. And I also learnt that he had a little foray into Hollywood and that he knew quite a few A-listers, such as Charlton Heston, for instance. Of course, we do get a bit up close and personal into his own private life, as we have accounts from people who we knew who are still with us, and of course people who are sadly no longer with us. This author really did his homework here, really knows his stuff when it comes to people like Roger Delgado. That, for one thing, means that this is a good read. I was completely unaware that this book existed until earlier this year. This book was actually released in 2017, and it just seemed to pass me by. I had no clue of its existence until my girlfriend found out about it, and she got it me as a gift earlier this year. So I'd like to give a shout out to Evangeline. Thank you very much for that, babe. I have to say that this is a great book to take on holiday with you, as recently I went to Spain and I took this thing with me. I couldn't put it down. It's such a great read. Finding out all about his personal life, finding out about his 18-month stint at the bank, finding out about everything he did on stage, TV, film, as I said before, really great. And then of course you get all of the big stuff, because if you are a Doctor Who fan, then you are most likely going to be interested in this book. There's a lot of chapters, and later on in the book delves into the making of the stories in which Roger was involved in, and it really does not disappoint. Even though I knew quite a bit when it came to his role as the Master, there was a new bit of information that I learnt which I wasn't aware of before. The nitty-gritty for me was learning about what he did prior to Doctor Who, because I feel like all of the stuff that he did before was just as important, because he was an actor who did a lot of stuff. He had a lot of screen credits on TV and film. The sad thing about it for me is he never really got that big starring role. A lot of people will always consider the role of the Master to be the quintessential role for Roger's life. It's a real shame that this role came just at the end of his career and his life. This book really hits home that Roger was a very versatile actor. He was used to playing villain roles, and he often put on accents because he played foreign roles, because he just had that look. There was something in his eyes, and you could really feel the warmth, the dedication in what was written in the book. This was a guy who loved acting as a profession. He's someone who was also a really great person in real life. Of course, this details his sad passing in 1973 after a car crash in Turkey, and it details the impact it had on the people in his life, including his widow, Kismet. I like the fact that it's not all just about Roger. You get close and personal to people like Kismet, the people who were very dear to him in his life. We get to learn a bit about his parents too earlier on in the book. I like how towards the end of the book it is just emphasised very clearly how much of a legacy that this man has left, not only in the acting world but also in Doctor Who, because you could really feel that a lot of the other actors who went on to play the Master after Roger took a little bit of inspiration from Roger's performance. Without Roger, we wouldn't have the Master. It's as simple as that. Unlike good biographies and autobiographies should, we have some nice pictures within. So at the back we have a nice bit of artwork from Terror of the Autons, which I think is really cool, seeing as that is where the quote for the title of this book comes from. And in the middle you have a few pictures of the life and career of Roger, which are really nice. Marcus Harms has done an absolutely fantastic job in the making of this book. So much love has gone into making this, and honestly, it is a great read. I would read it again. It's that good. I would highly recommend it to anyone who is a big fan of Roger Delgado. The book is kind of sad in a way because it makes you realise what we could have had if Roger had survived and his career went on and we would have had more performances as a Master. Hopefully Big Finish could do that one day with their Doctor Who audio plays. So for what it's worth, this is a masterful read.
It seems to be a rather interesting extraterrestrial life form.
Only puppets, you know.
Oh.